physiologist architect named Ogilvy in the 1950s when he wrote his book Design with Climate. And he's an architect, not a landscape architect, but what he wanted to do was try to correlate the optimal temperatures that people felt comfortable in with building design. I would think I would want to find out some of this information too from a client. Not just for to know their childhood environment for the psychological part, but actually for the physiological part. The purpose of our class today is that we're doing the site analysis stage of the project. A project normally includes about 5 or 6 stages. One of them is writing what's called a program, which is just your list of objectives for the project. And then the second thing is you go out and measure the site, and we did that last week. We measured the whole site and drew it up to a scale of 1/8 of an inch equals 1 foot. Then I reproduced copies of that map, and those are called site plans. And I gave them to the students so that students can use them to record this information that they gather. Today we're doing the site analysis stage where we're trying to figure out all of the different ways that the site itself will affect our design decisions. So one of the main things is going to be where the sun and shade patterns are because they affect temperature. What are your impressions and what is your sense of what this property is like? What is your sense of what design direction you might take it in? What is your sense of the nice things about it and the things about it which you feel are, really need improvement? Any other kinds of impressions that are, even if they seem insignificant or trivial. Sometimes even the trivial things are really important. Anybody want to jump in? Sonia? Yeah.
When I walk around, I can feel that there's very different temperatures throughout.
I think that's a really important observation, and partly it has to do with just the incidence of the sun angle, but a lot of it also has to do with the wind patterns, because every property has its own microclimates, and weather underground will give you the climate for the whole neighborhood, but unless you get in and study every single individual area in your property, and here we have a lot of them. We have this area out here that's sunny. We have this area up here where Tom is sitting, where it's always in shade. There's never a time when this is not in shade. This area has never seen sun. Where I'm standing, no sunlight. Another one will be what the soil type is.
What we're doing here today is a drainage test. And so what we've done is dug a hole in this section of the yard, and it's usually about 18 inches deep. And then once that hole is dug, we fill it up with water and get an exact measurement of the top of the water. So I can take a little measurement now, knowing that it was at 14 inches. And it looks like we are at about, we're at about 10 inches right now, or 9.5 inches. So that means that in 45 minutes, it's gone down about 5 inches, which is not bad. And we'll just monitor it over time and see if that rate continues. And if it doesn't, it gives us a sense of what we need to do in terms of drainage in the yard. I think there's a fair amount of nutrition in the soil and organic matter. The drainage doesn't seem too bad here as a result of that, and so I think quite a few things could grow here.
I want them to stand in certain places and analyze where the views are.
Just sitting around different areas on the property and just trying to feel what it would be like to be using the property in different times of day and different uses, and you see sort of what view you see, what part of the property feels good and what part just kind of feels uncomfortable and that sort of thing. So this is just a quick view of the backyard from the back porch, where you might be sitting and having breakfast or coffee or something, and you kind of see there's the shed, there's the neighbor's house, which you see over the fence, some trees. So just a quick sketch to let me remember what you're seeing when you're looking outside.
I'm attempting to draw this view from the door. In particular, I'm trying to remember this segment of the mountain. And the Cedrus Atlantica to the side.
Normally a landscape design consists of interaction of three factors. One is your client, and your client is the one who has the what are called program needs. So you need space for outdoor entertaining, you need space to grow vegetables, you need space for children to play, you need space for composting and space for storage and so forth. The second factor, which we're doing today again, is the site and all the physical factors that influence the design. And then the third part is the designer himself or herself and what they bring to bear, the judgments that they bring to bear in terms of aesthetics and continuity with the neighborhood. Well, do you want to talk any more about that view?
The fact that the redwood is there, and it's a huge part of the view, so designing with that redwood in mind.
It certainly is monumental scale, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
I mean, if
really
that
big.
redwood wasn't there, I think that this would feel like a very horizontal neighborhood. I think if you took that out, I think the place would be missing something. So really, that one channel of view is really, really special here. If you had another really good view there and another really good view there and another good view there, you might not be so concerned about the redwood tree. But I would think that the ability of that view to pull you out and make it feel that the garden is much more expansive is something that I think would be something you do not want to lose sight of. I really want the students to be aware of their own personal feelings, what works for them and what doesn't work, and to think about it on more of an experiential level as opposed to just purely gathering information.
Okay, we're rolling on two. tune I can't stop listening to. A sweet melody, both rosy and blue. You're a song with a million remarks. You're so endlessly long. I'll never learn all the parts. I have tried to get over you. Walking away ain't easy to do. You're a song with a million remarks. You're sharp like an arrow, straight to my heart. Now songs meant to be played, and players and lovers are easily made. But don't play me like your little song. If the fire ain't burning, you ought to move on. You're a tune I can't stop listening to.